The ASRock H670 PG Riptide is a prime example of what you get when you combine the strongest aspects of a chipset and incorporate them into one excellent package. For around $120, this motherboard is packed with features and is easily one of the best budget motherboards available for the LGA 1700 socket for your next Intel 12th or 13th gen PC. Before we get into any of the features of the motherboard, I wanted to highlight that this board has an unexpected ace up its sleeve. That ace is a Thunderbolt 4 slot for adding an add-in card. This is fantastic news for anyone who's looking for a cheap motherboard for their workstation with a Thunderbolt connector to use high-speed devices. The motherboard doesn't come with a Thunderbolt port in the rear I/O, but it does at least give you an option because it's very hard to find a motherboard with Thunderbolt at this price. As we dive deep into the features of the motherboard, it will paint a clear picture that this is perhaps one of the most underrated motherboards in the entire H670 chipset lineup. The ASRock H670 PG Riptide comes well equipped with a 9-phase VRM configuration that can even run a locked Intel Core i9-13900 at stock speeds. It is refreshing that ASRock is providing a capable VRM at such a low price, but that does come with a cost. This motherboard has rather small VRM heatsinks, which, while not a problem for running any CPU, it can put into question the long-term effects of the VRMs. Moving to the back, the rear I/O is pretty good. It comes with 8 USB ports, a BIOS flash button, HDMI, DisplayPort, a PS2 port, and a standard row of audio jacks that are powered by the Realtek ALC897 dynamic audio codec. The choice of USB ports is excellent, with 2 of them being USB 2.0 Type A ports, perfect for peripherals, and the rest of them are all running at USB 3.2 Gen 1 for greater speeds, including a USB Type C port. In terms of PCIe expansion, we get a PCIe 5.0 x 16 slot, a PCIe 4 x 16, and 3 PCIe 3.0 x 1. It is almost impossible to find a motherboard at this price with a PCIe 5.0 slot, and on top of that, it has a full-width PCIe 4.0 x 16 slot without lane bifurcation. We also get 3 M2 slots, all running at PCIe 4.0 speeds, and even though this motherboard doesn't come with Wi-Fi built in, it is great to see that there's an M2 key for Wi-Fi for you to slot in a Wi-Fi card. This will save any USB ports from being consumed if you choose to go with wireless connectivity. If we take a look at some of the direct competition to this motherboard, it is evident that ASRock has something very special with the H670 PG Riptide. The Asus Prime H670 Plus D4 comes to mind as a decent alternative, but in terms of features, it is simply not up to par with the ASRock H670 PG Riptide. The Asus Prime has PCIe 4.0 lanes, a decent enough rear I/O, and a good set of VRMs, but the more you look at it, the more you see that it just doesn't take advantage of the H670 chipset like ASRock does. And about those VRMs, the cooling on them is notorious for keeping the VRMs hot and resulting in the CPU needing to throttle to prevent overheating. In conclusion, if I can define the ASRock H670 PG Riptide in one sentence, it would be that it is quite an understated powerhouse of a motherboard. The inclusion of a Thunderbolt header and PCIe 5.0 x 16 slot alone make this a premium offering at a budget price that other motherboards will have a very tough time competing with. To sum up, what I like is the excellent price and availability, the good VRM design for the price, the Thunderbolt 4 support, and the PCIe 5.0 support. On the downside, weak VRM heatsinks. Our ratings for VRM design is 7 out of 10. Features, 8.5 out of 10. Aesthetics, 8 out of 10. Value for money, 9 out of 10 for an overall rating of 8 out of 10.